This is CNN.
Nice, strong rally. Closing bell ringing on Wall Street. Dow Jones Industrials up the best part of half a percentage point. WWE ringing the closing bell today. We'll be talking to that Daily Connell a little later in the programme. Even WWE cannot break the gavel on Friday, August the 17th. Tonight, Elon Musk opens up and Tesla shares go heading down. The stock's off almost 9%. Donald Trump gives no quarter with a bold new plan for corporate earnings reports. And the president's parade is postponed. Washington goes to battle over the costs of how much it would take. I'm Richard Quest, live from the world's financial capital, New York City, where, of course, I mean business on a good day for the Dow. Good evening. Once again, Tesla shares twist and turn on every word from Elon Musk. The founder and chief executive has revealed the heavy strain that he's under. He's described the past year as excruciating. It's a deeply personal interview with the New York Times. Investors showed little sympathy for his plight. The shares are down 9% on the day. Elon Musk believes the worst personal pain has yet to come. At times he was teary, at times he was laughing. He told the reporters sometimes he didn't leave the Tesla factory for 3 or 4 days, and he almost missed his brother's wedding. He was driving to the airport when he tweeted about securing funding to take Tesla private at 4:20 and was not on weed. No one else reviewed that tweet before he posted it. And he often can't sleep without the pharmaceutical Ambien. David Geddes is one of the New York Times reporters who interviewed Elon Musk. He joins me now. Good to see you, sir.
Great to see you.
I suppose we can get into the minutiae of what he said and all that, but what was your overall impression of the man when you could hear his voice?
This is a man who, despite having accomplished so much this year, is clearly on the edge. The extraordinary personal toll his work ethic has taken, working 120 hours a week sometimes, sleeping as the factory, as you say, is caught up with him. And the stress of the short sellers who have been targeting Tesla's stock, second-guessing him, and his, frankly, relentless efforts to engage them on Twitter and bite back at every moment has finally caught up with him.
He doesn't have a number 2 as such, and the board, there's some disagreement, isn't there? He says they're not looking, but the board are.
We have it on good authority that there is a process underway to try to get this man executive help. He is doing everything, and not just one company, not just a Tesla, but he's also the CEO of SpaceX, you have to remember.
When we say he's doing everything, I mean, there must be a chief operating. There must be somebody who's head of the factory. There must be a team of people who are running this thing because of the thousands of employees and the hundreds of thousands of cars they're making.
One of the distinguishing characteristics of this man's career, however, yes, there are plenty of executives, but one of the things that has differentiated this man's career from so many others is the degree to which he's hands-on. If you look at his history, he is involved in the nuts and bolts. He's involved in the production design. He designed the assembly line that these cars are rolling off.
Is or are the board being negligent in the sense that they have presided over the situation as it has got worse, seemingly without taking any action?
Here's what we know about the board right now. They were caught off guard by the tweet last Tuesday, August 7th. They want him to take a break from Twitter and step back from it. He has refused to do so thus far. We also know that they have engaged a law firm to give them separate counsel from him and the company.
But he, as I remember from last week and his statement, he owns about 20% or so of the stock. It's still the board's company. They are the shareholders' representatives. Why aren't the board being more proactive, not to get rid of him, but to provide him the support and understanding that he clearly needs.
Many corporate governance experts are asking these very questions today, and you have to remember, this story is still developing. I think we're going to know more about what this company is going to do next week.
That would suggest that potentially the announcement on privatization next week.
No, I didn't mean to suggest that at all.
Sorry.
Only to say that this interview came out late last night.
But if we...
The board is clearly reviewing this story. They're clearly still in deliberations with their outside counsel, and I don't think we are at the end of the story.
So as for Elon Musk himself, I mean, he says he needs Ambien to help him sleep occasionally. Well, there's no specifics how often, but the fact he's able to talk about that is significant. And what got me, though, was the last line of the article this morning. Basically, find somebody else and I'll give them the job. Find somebody else and they can do it. It's not quite a God complex, but it's getting very close to saying, I'm the only person who can do this.
I think that's precisely what he's saying. And again, this has been...
But that's dangerous territory in a public company. When anybody believes that they... I mean, he is bigger than the company at one level, but it's still another company.
Yeah, I think many corporate governance experts would agree with you.
So what happens next? I mean, do you think... I mean, you say he's a man on the edge. Do you think we are, and I'm not asking you to be a psychologist, but are we heading to a scenario where, you know, he has to take time off for his mental health, do you think?
He told us last night that he has not taken a vacation of more than a week since 2001. This is a man who has worked relentlessly, and you can hear it in his voice. He needs a break. I think he would admit as much, but to your point, he doesn't believe that he can afford to take one. So I think the big question is...
That's exactly the problem. That is the problem in a nutshell.
He doesn't believe he can take his foot off the gas.
Metaphorically. Good to speak to you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Reporting. It was an excellent article in this morning's paper. Thank you very much.
Thanks for having me.
And so, to put it into perspective, Tesla's share price has lost serious ground since that famous tweet. Hey, Claire's with me. Good to see you.
Yeah.
All right, what have we got in terms of the share price here?
Well, I think we can pull up the past month because it's certainly been volatile, Richard, and this is a very volatile stock at the best of time. Elon Musk himself has said if you don't want to buy a volatile stock, don't buy Tesla. But the fascinating thing about this is he pretty much snatched defeat from the jaws of victory. This was the earnings report on August 1st. It shot up 16%. Then we have the tweet here, another 11%. And the earnings report actually said that they are going to be sustainably profitable from the next quarter. They're starting to meet Model 3 targets. And then we have that tweet and the subsequent uncertainty, and now today. And, you know, you just see that he's kind of brought it down almost 20% from the peak after the tweet.
But one shouldn't be surprised if, not to put too fine a point on it, and, you know, the man is under such strain. I mean, the tweet itself was bizarre.
Right.
The reaction from everybody else has been extraordinary. And now, this is today pretty much, you've got the questions about his mental stability.
Right, and I think the extraordinary thing, if you talk to the investor community about this, is are they worried about what would happen if he did step back, or are they worried about whether he's going to stay? I think a lot of them are worried about what happens if he does step back. They don't want him to step back. They are investing as much in him as they are in the products and in the future growth of the company. So
right,
there's that dilemma there.
Over the last 6 months to a year, the share price had risen sharply. There have been numerous over there. There's Tesla over 5 years.
Yeah, it's more than about more than doubled over 5 years.
Right now, look at it since January.
2017, it was up 45%.
So what happened in these 2 or 3 months?
So this was the start of 2017. Yeah. 2017 was a year of hopes around the Model 3. We knew the car was going to go into production, went into production around July, and after that there was volatility around the production targets. And then this year has been incredibly volatile, Richard, as they've missed those production targets on the Model 3. They said they were going to hit 5,000 a week by this point, by December of 2018. They only hit it at the end of July. They've said that they're on track now. So again, we have this situation where just as the company is starting to get to the targets that he's set for it, he goes off the rails.
Okay, but one more point on this.
Yeah.
The market, or many analysts believe that this is where the share price actually should be.
Right.
It's based on earnings, based on company performance. It's falling back, but on the basis of the CEO's mental condition and the question of whether or not he's fit to run the company. At some point, these two, the market would say, will get closer.
Yeah, I mean, you could say that. I think a lot of the reason for the share price growth is Elon Musk himself, as well as it being the reason for it coming down today. So I think without him, this is the dilemma for the board that you were discussing. What do they do? How do they get him to take a step back without having him take too much of a step back and send the share price crashing back down to where it was 5 years ago?
Thank you, Claire. The spat between the United States and Turkey shows no signs of cooling off. Coming up, President Trump says Turkey acted very badly and the US won't take it sitting down. Also, Google's chief executive has 1.4 billion potential customers waiting in China, and 14,000 employees aren't happy about the way he may be about to offer service to them.